Welcome to episode number 12 of From the Bunker. Guys, appreciate all the support so far. Last week we had the Smash Factory on. Again, shout out to them. If you haven't heard that episode, it's time to go listen to it. It's our best episode by far. We appreciate all the support. Appreciate all them guys coming on. They have a great idea that they've started, and I wish them nothing but the best. I think they're going to do really well. And they're going to be back on. They want to come back on every now and then, give some updates on what they've got going on and what they've got cooking. So y'all be ready. I've got some insider information, and y'all are going to be shocked at what the Smash Factory is bringing you. As always, today's episode is brought to you by none other than 4Golf. And you can see I got the 4Golf rope patch hat on. I've got the quarter zip hoodie, which is one of my favorite things that they have. But guys, 4Golf was a brand that was built by golfers, okay, that wanted better style without the premium price tag. And that's my favorite part about it. Back in 2024, they started testing fabrics, dialing in fits, and creating apparel that they actually wanted to wear, and not just on the course, but everywhere. I didn't go play golf today. I had a dentist appointment. I had errands to run. I'm decked out in 4Golf. The mission was simple: clean style, comfortable fabrics, and prices that wouldn't leave you, having to take out a second mortgage on your house. If you want gear that looks good, fits right, and doesn't break the bank, look no further than 4golfapparel.com. Use promo code From the Bunker at checkout for an additional 10% off. Even the stuff on sale, guys, you still get the 10% off. Go check out 4Golf Apparel. We appreciate them taking care of From the Bunker. Guys, we've got a amazing guest today that's going to be coming up soon, Mr. Adam Gary. He is the head golf coach at Western Kentucky University for the Lady Toppers. He has got an incredible track record, and I can't wait for y'all to hear that. But first, there's been a lot going on this week. Golf has started back up, baby. We're back in the new season. The Corn Ferry is underway. The PGA should be underway, but the first event of the year got canceled. But the Corn Ferry is currently playing the Bahamas Golf Classic at the Ocean Club down there in the beautiful Bahamas. And the cut today was there. It started Sunday, a little different. Started Sunday, so it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The cut line today was 8 under, and 15 under leads it. Mr. Taylor Dixon with 10 under today. Some low numbers, some great golf. It's coming on the Golf Channel, so go check that shit out, man. Really, really good golf over on the Corn Ferry, the future of golf. I enjoy watching it. Got to go to an event last year and actually volunteer, and it was absolutely amazing. I can't wait to do that again this year. But golf is back, guys. Go check it out. And just a few days away from the first PGA Tour event, and that's the Sony Open down in Honolulu, Hawaii. Seen my boy Maverick McNeely on Instagram was headed down there with his wife and kid. Everybody's gearing up for the 2026 golf season. It's getting started, baby. We're back. We are back. It won't be long, and the Masters and all these tournaments that we're waiting for will be here. In other PGA news, man, Brooks Koepka. Brooks is back, baby. I guess the PGA heard the podcast. We know they listen, and I guess they listen closely because they're letting Brooks come back. There is some rules, if you will. Let's run through them real quick. The only way to get back in without having to take a suspension is if you won a major for the players since 2022. So there's only 4 humans in the world that is on live or that was on live that would qualify to even come back instantly. And that is Brooks Koepka, that is Johnny Rami, that is Bryson DeChambeau, and that is Cam Smith. Also, 5 years of no PGA stock, if you will. So they give the players some sort of equity in the PGA now. I guess, every year, I don't know exactly how it works, but I would assume every year that you're on the PGA Tour, you get a little bit more of that and a little bit more of that. He is not eligible, or any of these guys that come back on this list here wouldn't be eligible for 5 years. Okay. Next is he had to make a $5 million donation. a $5 million charitable donation, which I like that. He got $100 million or whatever from Live. $5 million charitable donation is like $5 to me and you. Here's the best part about it. The field is not going to shrink. So if any of these guys come back and play in an event, they're going to be an additional ad and nobody's going to lose their spot. So that 100th guy or whatever it is not going to get kicked out because some of these guys come back, or with Brooks coming back this year, they're not going to get removed because they're going to let Brooks in. He's going to be back sooner than later. He's going to be playing at the Farmers, which is going to come up here in a couple of weeks. And he's also going to be playing at the Waste Management. So Brooks Koepka is back, baby, on the PGA Tour. And I think this is going to be epic. I think he'll come back and really play some really good golf on the PGA. Next thing that I wanted to mention, guys, is I don't know how many of you seen it, but Rory McIlroy, and you know he's not my favorite, but he went on a podcast, I think wherever he's from, a big podcast over there. Can't remember the name of it. I think Everything But Football or something like that it's called. But anyways, Rory went on this podcast, guys, and some of the things that he said I liked, and one thing that he said I really, really didn't love. And so first we'll talk about this. He made some comments on the Live guys returning. Specifically talked about Bryson DeChambeau coming back, and he seemed to be 100% on board with it. He said that basically going to Live was kind of their punishment. So if they want to come back, he would welcome them with open arms. So with Brooks coming back, I guess Rory is 100% on board with that, as I would say most of the players would be, and I don't see why you wouldn't. If you're a competitor like that, you want to play against the best. You want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And right now, Rory and Scotty are not playing the best every week. And if all four of these guys that are eligible to come back right away did, then we could talk about that they're playing the best every week. So he said that about the Live guys, which I was kind of shocked about, but I'm glad that he did, and he wants, to welcome them back. What I didn't like that he said is he really, really ragged. I mean, just absolutely ragged on the USA team in the Ryder Cup. Just completely drug them through the mud, said they had no team continuity, that, they don't know how to play together, just on and on. Y'all go listen to it, but I did not like the way that he trashed us. He said that our team kind of plays for a militaristic deal and for the flag rather than for their teammates. And it was kind of weird and shocking what he was saying, but I feel like he was taking some unnecessary shots. So y'all can go check that out and make that decision for yourself. That's enough on our boy Rory. You see the posters everywhere. I absolutely love it. Next, I want to tell you guys that we will be doing a giveaway. Now, I did a giveaway a couple months ago. Nobody did what I asked them to do, so we're going to make a real simple one. Make sure that you're following us on all of our socials. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, of course. I'll be posting that up sometime this week. We're going to be giving away some 4Golf apparel. Again, shout out 4Golf apparel, 4golfapparel.com. Use code from the bunker at checkout. But I'm going to be doing a giveaway of one of these hats. I've got another hat, maybe a shirt or something. So you guys make sure that you're subscribed, following, liked all of our social medias, and don't miss the giveaway. It's going to be real simple to enter. So be looking for that this week. Guys, again, appreciate all the support. And here is my interview with the head coach of the Lady Toppers, Mr. Adam Gary. Guys, today's guest is someone who has helped change the trajectory of golf right here in Kentucky. Mr. Adam Gary is entering his 12th season as the head coach of WKU Women's Golf. And if you've paid any attention around here over the last few years, you already know what kind of program he's running up there. This past season, he led the Lady Toppers to 4 wins, the most in program history, their first Conference USA championship, and their first ever NCAA regional appearance in the program's 48-year history. He's a 2-time Conference USA Coach of the Year, a former professional golfer, a Class A PGA professional, and someone who has built WKU into a consistent top 100 program nationally. But today isn't just about wins and trophies. It's about how he actually built a championship culture, developed elite players, sustained success in college golf. Coach Gary, I appreciate you coming on from the bunker. Welcome in. How we doing?
Great. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate you very much. We're going to get right into it, Coach. I mean, when you took over WKU in 2014, what did you see as the biggest challenge for the Lady Toppers?
Yeah, a lot of challenge. We only had 5 players on the team. We were only allowed on one of the golf courses here in town. We didn't have an indoor facility. We didn't have a consistent place to practice. We didn't have a locker room. We didn't have a van to travel in. A lot of things. Even from the equipment side of it, we had a lot of things to catch up on and to just to have to where you feel like you belong almost in a sense. But we were ranked, I think, 185 when I was hired. So we've come a long way, and it hasn't happened all at once. So it's just kind of adding little pieces and getting a little bit better every year. It's been fun. It's been fun to see the progress.
Absolutely. You've done a fantastic job. I mean, the stats speak for themselves as we just ran through there. Hell of a year last year as well. Did you have a vision early on for what you wanted for WKU women's golf, or did that develop kind of as you took over the program and got into it?
Yeah, I think it just developed as time went on. I didn't really set goals that we had to achieve by a certain time. It was just trying to get the pieces there. Because I kind of look at my job as a coach is just to provide the opportunities for the players to get better, and then it's kind of up to them to take advantage of it. So I just had to go to work to get those opportunities and get the tools that we needed to get better and to improve. And we've been lucky that the players have kind of taken it and run with it.
Absolutely. At what point did you realize that, we can really take this program and compete nationally, make it to, our first NCAA regional?
I think we started with just some individuals like Mary Joyner and Georgina Blackman had a lot of success winning tournaments. Mary has the most wins in Conference USA history for an individual with 6. Katie was just right there behind her with 5. But I think it was starting out with having individuals get wins at tournaments, and then maybe others on the team seeing that and maybe being able to feel like they could do that as well. And then it just kind of elevated everyone's games together. So I think it started with a few good players, and then that kind of got the momentum started to bring more good players, and kind of got the culture going of trying to improve and actually wanting to compete and do something with our program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I guess what you're saying there is great golfers attract great golfers. Like I mentioned, 4 wins, a conference championship, NCAA regionals. What separated 2025's Lady Toppers golf team from, what made them different?
Gosh, I would say it was a few things. I mean, having some upperclassmen, so we had some experience. Katie had made regionals, NCAA regionals individually the previous 2 years, and having the pieces around her with Sydney, and obviously she won individually for the conference title as well. So not only did we win team, but we had the individual champ also. But I think they just started to believe in themselves a little bit more. Obviously, having 4 wins, and I think a big part of that was at the beginning of the spring semester when we beat the University of Florida head to head. I think that really opened their eyes that this team was special and that we could do something. Because I mean, Florida ended up going on to win the SEC championship in the spring, so having a win against
Wow.
them, and then also winning Tennessee's tournament a little bit later. So it was, yeah, I think it was a belief in themselves in the fall, and then the results started to show up in the spring, and then it kind of rolled right into conference with the win. So it was a lot of fun to see.
That's amazing. Sounds like you had a great group of girls, and I'm sure you love every group that you've had, but last year seemed to be a little bit special, and seems like you're retaining a lot of those players as well, but we'll get to that in a moment. Was there a moment during the season, you kind of touched on this, but was it that Florida win, which is very impressive, by the way? Was that the moment that something clicked in you and said, hey, we might have something here. We might have a run this year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I always felt like they had it in them, but sometimes I think that's the best way to get confidence is to actually see it. You have to have a little bit of self-belief, but when you have the results, and sometimes golf is hard like that. You can put time in and really work on your game and not see the results, and it can be frustrating. But I'm proud that team last year didn't didn't let the setbacks get to them, and they kind of knew they could get there if they just kept working on it and stuck together. And the team culture was great. The team got along great, and I think that kind of plays into it too. If everything is kind of in balance off the course, then the team seems to play better on the course. So they had a little bit of all of that last year.
As you touched on, I mean, seeing is believing, especially in golf. If you having a bad day, you can't see the shot, at least for me, at least for the average golfer. If I can't see it, I can't believe it. And I get down on myself, and I'm sure it's just expedited, double, triple for somebody competing at a high level. So that's awesome to know that, the girls stuck together and had a great year. Winning 4 tournaments in one season isn't typical. How hard was it to sustain that winning streak, or how hard was it to sustain winning in college golf? How hard is that?
Yeah, winning is not easy in golf. I mean, other sports there's a winner and loser every game, but in golf you can finish middle of the pack. There's just every week there's 12 to 14 teams that you have to beat, which makes it a little bit tougher. But yeah, I don't know. We don't really set goals to win tournaments. We just kind of try to dive into the process a little bit more, and then once you put the preparation in, it's really just more and compete. Sometimes it's tough with goal setting. If you set a goal to win a tournament, you might have the best tournament you've ever played and someone beats you by a shot. And it might feel like a failure if the goal was to win instead of, no, my goal is to get better and to keep improving. And I think those are the things that you can control. So you have to kind of be careful about worrying about things that are outside of your control, because that can lead to frustration, especially with golf, because it can beat you up a little bit. So no, the team did a good job of just doing their prep work and kind of staying consistent with those things, and then the trophies came later.
And again, congrats on a great season. Congrats to the girls that actually went out there and played, but you as well for putting it all together. What would you say is the key to winning in college golf? I know that's a hard one, but in your opinion, what do you think is the biggest factor?
Man, I mean, obviously you need good players. I think that helps out, but no, I think the key to winning is to stay patient and just keep taking the feedback and working on the things that you need to work on. I think a lot of times golfers can practice and kind of spin their wheels and not accomplish as much or not be as productive. We do a lot with stats and tracking different things to where we make sure that we're working on what we need to work on, because that's a big part of college. I think that's a big step going from high school to college. It's a little bit more time management, because you don't only have to worry about golf. You have school and you have workouts and you have study hall, and obviously you want a social life and be able to go to games and do some other things with your friends too. So you really have to be mindful of how you're using your time, to where when you go to the course, you're working on what you need to work on to see those areas improve, kind of find that low lying fruit first. And I think the stats and some of the things that we track kind of help with that. But yeah, the team really stayed focused, and that's where I think you can kind of see from our program, from a development standpoint, pretty much everyone, their stroke average improves from freshman year to senior year. So I think it's a big part of winning is you have to continue to get better, because it's not easy to do. And you have to have a group of five. One person can't do it by themselves. So it's tough, but I think when you do get those wins, it's really worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had a college golfer on, a local kid here in Franklin that went to Bethany. You might know him, Braden Roberts, but I had him on, and just talking to him and hearing his schedule. I mean, what these athletes have to do, spending hours and hours on the golf course to get better every day, but also attending class and, keeping a life and all this. I mean, it's a full time job. So hats off to them, as you were kind of, touching at there, for keeping it all together. They definitely juggle a lot for 18, 22, 23, 24-year olds. So what would you say are your non-negotiables inside your WKU Lady Topper golf program?
Yeah, the big things that I preach are attitude and effort. And kind of going back to what we talked about earlier, those are things that you can control. You can always control your attitude. You can always control your effort. You can't always control your score. Your score comes and goes, but I think the important thing is if you're always present with a good attitude, you're probably going to be a good teammate, and you're probably going to get better if you're putting the time in. That's the thing with golf, is it's a hard sport, and if you're not working on it and kind of constantly keeping up with those skills and staying sharp, it's going to be hard to perform well. So yeah, those are my non-negotiables.
Absolutely. Love that answer. That's great, coach. How do you develop confidence without entitlement within your program?
Yeah, so like when we have our practices, we're always competing. Very rarely will we have a range practice where we just go hit golf balls. Pretty much everything we do, we're keeping score and we're competing to where they can kind of track their improvement, track their progress. And sometimes someone might beat the number one player on the team, and that's going to make them feel good and give them confidence. Like you said, sometimes seeing is believing, and you have to create those competitive environments to get those takeaways. I think it's a very important thing. So yeah, confidence is a tough thing, but I think that if you're working hard and doing what you need to do, then a lot of that stuff take care of itself.
Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned that about kind of going to the range with intent. That's something that I try to do just as a normal, I guess, weekend golfer, if you will, is when I do get that time to go practice, I always try to have intent. So good to hear that I'm on the right path there. How do you teach players to compete when they're having an off day, when their swing's not there, but you need them to go out and compete? What are some things that you use to get them to still go out and perform at a high level?
Yeah, I mean that's the nature of golf. You're not always going to have your A game, so I think it's important to have options with your game. Sometimes your swing isn't going to feel good, so I encourage them to develop different types of shots, whether it's a three-quarter shot, a cut shot, some kind of a knockdown shot. It could be anything. There's a lot of different options, but it's no different than a pitcher in baseball. If your fastball's not working, you better have a changeup or a curveball or something. Yeah, it's having that attitude to compete, because you're not always going to feel your best, and your swing isn't always going to be perfect. Knowing how to adjust, I think if you can adapt, that's really the key to playing good golf and to competing at your highest level that you can.
Absolutely. In college golf, coach, do you think that it's more with mental aspect of the game or the technical aspect of the game?
I mean, it's a little bit of both. Yeah, you have to have some technical and some mental. I think it depends on where you are in your journey with golf. I mean, some people starting out don't have the mechanics, and they have to do a lot more work with that. Someone that's been playing longer and that has a lot more experience, it might be more mental. It might be course management. It might be visualization. It could be routine. There's a lot of different things to that mental side of it. So I think that's very individualized, and that's something you have to kind of cue in on as a coach, is what does that player need to really improve and get better.
That's awesome. Love that. We had touched on them. You brought them up a couple times, but let's talk about some of the players on the team. Start with Sydney Hackett. Her jump was massive. What changed in her game this year?
Yeah, Sydney's really solid. I mean, she's always had an unbelievable short game. She's driving the ball really well right now. I think from a mechanic standpoint, she's really solid. But a lot of the reason that she's really improved is the work ethic. She's probably the hardest worker on the team and has been since her freshman year. She got off to a really good start. Like, she won her very first college tournament down at South Alabama her freshman year and shot 10 under. So she kind of came in with a bang, and then had a little bit of a struggle, especially off the tee her sophomore year. And she's been kind of fighting her swing a little bit since then, but it really started to click in last year. And she played really solid in the spring, obviously winning the the conference championship, and then having a 66 in the final round up at the regionals that we had in Lexington's. She has definitely put some good scores up, and then this fall she just kind of continued right over. So I think she's gotten a lot more comfortable with her swing, and that's given her a lot more confidence. And then her short game, chipping and putting, has always been the best on the team, maybe the best I've ever had. It's fun to watch because, like I said earlier, sometimes you put time in, you don't see the results. So it's exciting to see that hard work pay off, and I think that's what's that's what's really fun to see with her.
Absolutely. I mean, that 66, that's so impressive. I mean, that's normally like my front nine score, coach. 66 and under,
She's really good.
that's a heck of a day. Next, I want to ask you about somebody that is leaving the program this year that I'm assuming graduated. Miss Katie Craig leaves as one of the most accomplished players in your program's history. What set her apart?
Yeah, Katie's a great story. She didn't really have many offers coming out of high school. I think she only had 2 offers out of high school, and when she got here her freshman year, she had a hard time getting in our lineup and actually didn't make the lineup for our conference her freshman year. But she didn't let that deter her. She didn't have a bad attitude. She just went to work and started working on her game. And then she got to where she was conference champ individually her sophomore year, finished top 10 in every tournament she played for us her junior year. And then by the time her senior year rolled around, she had won the North South over in Pinehurst, and she was ranked top 70 in the world golf rankings. So she got to play at Augusta National for the ANWA tournament. I mean, a huge accomplishment. That's so hard to do on the ladies side of it. So, yeah, to just see her trajectory coming from freshman year to when she graduated. I know she struggled just a little bit her spring semester, a senior year, but making it through Q school and then playing on the Epson tour last year, it was an incredible ride. I was really fortunate to be in the front seat to get to see a lot of that.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's reading up on her. She had an incredible career. Really, really great golfer. Does she plan to continue to play golf at a higher level?
Yeah, so she turned professional and started playing in June. I went to Q school again this fall. Didn't get her tour card, but she'll continue to play some smaller events. And she's also working part time for a golf course architecture. That was her major with landscape architecture. So she's going to be doing some design work and things on golf courses. And actually did an internship at Indian Hills while she was here at Western. So she was rolling greens and on the mowers and doing different things. So she's going to end up being in something with golf, and her personality and work ethic, she's going to be successful at anything she does.
That's amazing. Yeah, when I looked her up on Instagram, I was, just scrolling through and I seen the Augusta. I seen that she was working designing courses. I thought that was super, super cool. Coach, how do you say you handle having multiple players peaking at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good problem to have if you've got a lot of players peaking. But that's where if it's a good culture where the teammates are rooting for each other and not looking at each other as competition, I think that's the best case scenario. Not every team is able to do that. So that is something that we try to look for when we're doing the recruiting and the recruitment process, is to find good teammates. And that way, if you do have multiple players peaking at the same time, then man, the team is really going to play well. So you want them to look at it as, I want to beat you at your best. I don't want you to play bad, so I win. I think it's all in how you look at it. That's a big part of how that works for the team.
Absolutely. What would you say separates good college golfers from that championship level college golfer?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I would say the major separating factor is self-image. I think that the good players kind of see themselves playing well, and that way when they have a bad round, they don't take it personally because they don't really see that as being themselves. I think the good players kind of rebound from a bad round faster. They don't let it totally destroy what they're working on to where they can, scrap it and then go to another. And that's the tough thing with YouTube and Instagram and all the golf instruction that's out there. It's easy to change your philosophies or start working on something else. But the really successful and good players kind of stick to the plan, even if they have a little blip in the results. They stay the course and keep going in that direction. I think that's what really separates the elite from the average.
Great answer. And I guess you see that. I mean, if you think about it, pay attention to the tours. You see that guys can go out and shoot even par or over par one day, or ladies, and the next day, come out and put down a 62 or something absolutely insane. So it's a quick forget and move on type deal. You see that a lot in golf, and I guess, mainly with the best in the world. So that's amazing. You've done a great job, Coach. Let's talk about recruiting a little bit. I'm kind of interested in this. When you're recruiting, what matters more to you? Is it scores that you're seeing posted? Is it the mindset of the player? What's more important to you in your program?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's both. Recruiting is tough. There's not really one set thing that you look for. Sometimes it's just a gut feeling about a player, but you have to kind of forecast where you think they're going. So sometimes it's part of the interview process and what they're wanting to major in. And you can kind of tell how serious they are about golf, or if the goal is to just get a spot on a college team and then, get their parents off their back and then they could just play. But I think what I look for is competitive players. Like I said, I think if you really love the game, then you're willing to fight through some of those low moments or tough times with it. But obviously we look at scores. I mean, you have to have a certain level of proficiency to get recruited at some point. But then from there, yeah, I think a lot of it is attitude, how competitive they are, what kind of a teammate will they be. Obviously, grades are important. And I think sometimes it can even be a relationship with parents, like whether they get along or not, you can kind of tell how they'll treat you as a coach and things as well too. There's a lot of different parts to it, but sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. You don't really know, but I think if someone is really into golf and they want to get better, they will get better here. And that's the most important thing I look for. It's if someone's willing to put the time in, I feel like we have the tools and everything that we need to get better. And that's kind of what we've proven with some of the players and the stroke average improvements as they've been here. So I think it's a tough thing to really narrow down in how you recruit, but those are some of the things that I look for.
What do junior golfers misunderstand about playing college golf, would you say?
I would say probably the time commitment. I would say that time management piece. It's easier when you're at home and you have your parents doing your laundry and cooking food and organizing things for you. And then once you get out on your own and you've got a lot of distractions, to be able to say no to certain things and say yes to the more important things, that's probably the toughest part. But once they get the time management part down, I think that's really the first step to success at the college level.
Okay. That's awesome. How important, and you mentioned this earlier when you got there, you might have not had this, but how important was the Philip Hatchett golf facility in taking the program to the next level?
Yeah, I think that's been a huge step for us. Obviously, we're not the farthest south in our conference, actually, probably closer to the farthest north. But to be able to have a facility where we can always get some work done and the players have 24/7 access to it, to where if they need to work on something, they can go in there and even they go in and use it for studying and things as well. But that's been a huge part of the recruiting piece as well. I think when players come in and you can kind of show them some facilities, that's been a very important piece and probably what we were missing before to get some of the better players or higher ranked players, I guess you should say. But it's been huge. And to have Coach Hatchett's name on it, obviously he was the coach here when I was hired, so he helped me a lot getting started. So I kind of had to lean on him a lot when I was hired. I had no coaching experience, assistant anywhere else, so I had kind of a steep learning curve, and he really helped me a lot. So to have his name on the building, I think is very appropriate.
And was he the women's or the men's coach when he was there?
Yeah, he was the men's coach. Yeah, yeah. So we
Okay.
coached
All
alongside
right.
each
I
other
thought
for.
so. How long were you there with him?
I was there with him for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years.
Okay. Awesome. Um, Gonna do some rapid fire questions with you here, coach. What would you say the toughest part of being a college coach is or has been?
The toughest part, I would say probably managing different personalities. You have 8 or 9 players on the team. Everyone needs something a little bit differently. And sometimes it's difficult struggling with class schedules and trying to get everyone to practice at the same time. But this year is the first year that I've been able to have an assistant, like a grad assistant. So that's really helped. Before that, the first 10 years of my coaching experience, it was just me by myself. So trying to kind of manage everyone and take care of everyone at the level that they needed to. That's probably the toughest part.
Yeah, I'm sure a assistant helps. I don't do near as much as you, coach, and I could use an assistant sometimes.
Yeah,
My
it
wife
definitely
don't like
helps.
it very much, but she gets called upon.
Yes, mine did too. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. What would we do without them, right, coach?
That's right.
One trait every elite golfer has.
Ooh, back to something we kind of mentioned earlier. I think it's a positive self-image or self-confidence. They view themselves as being capable and able to do it, and then that helps visualize where they want to go. Because there's a lot of different golf swings, a lot of different styles of play. I don't think you can really point to one thing over another. So I think that mindset is a really big separator.
I like that. Even though, I'm a 20 handicap coach and my mindset's great. I'll go to that first tee with every confidence in the world that I'm going to kick your ASS and don't work out a lot of times for me. Best advice for a junior golfer trying to get recruited. So these young ladies hearing this or seeing this, what's one thing that you could tell them that, would be your best piece of advice?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is don't do it to get recruited. Don't do it to just get a spot on the team. I think play golf because you enjoy it and you love the game and you want to get better. I think if you love the game and you work hard at it, the recruitment part of it will take care of itself. Like if you get better and improve, coaches will find you. But if you look at it as a job that like, hey, I'm just going to do this because there's opportunities for me to go to college and play golf, you're probably going to get burned out and you're going to have a lot of pressure put on you, especially at the next level once you get there. So I always think it's do it for the love of the game first, do it for wanting to improve. And if you get on a team, great. And if not, then it's a game you can play the rest of your life. So start with that. And I think that's one of my pet peeves when people come up to me and ask me like, well, what does she need to do to get a college scholarship? And it's like, well, you just need to enjoy it. So you're not miserable once you get there. I think that's a really important mindset to start with.
I love that. Yeah, love of the game, coach. You gotta love it, right? It's a
Right.
grind. You gotta love it. One thing you wish every amateur golfer like myself would understand.
Ooh, that's a tough one too. I think the number one thing that people ask me for when they come for golf lessons is they want to be more consistent. And I think most amateur golfers don't understand that that's really not possible with golf. I mean, even with Rory, you look at his scores last year, his range was 62 to 78. So he had a 16 shot variance. But, an average weekend golfer might have an 80 as their best round of the year and a 96 as their high side. It's the same consistency as Rory. It's just maybe not at the elite level, but no one really goes out and shoots the same score every day. And if you have your best round, you're going to drive yourself crazy if you think you're going to shoot that every time. So I think most amateur golfers just need to be okay with, hey, that wasn't my best round, but that's just a statistical probability. It's going to happen sometimes. And I think that looking at it that way is like, well, that doesn't mean I can't go out and play great tomorrow. Yeah. And back to what we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, is like when you have that bad round, the amateurs will scrap everything they're doing, get new clubs, get a new putter, do something instead of just, no, that was just on my high side of my spectrum, on my bell curve. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I'm probably going to have some different results next week. It's hard to stay patient and do that sometimes. But yeah, that consistency question I get a lot on the lesson tee.
I like that answer as well. I'm a big guy. I'm going to have to quit saying I want to get consistent because I say the same thing, but you're absolutely right. In 2025, I had two rounds in the same week at Kenny's where I shot 89. And then 2 months later, I went to Del Hollow and shot like 115, 120, something insane. So, yeah, I totally, totally get that. As an amateur golfer, that makes a whole lot of sense. The last rapid fire I had for you was one thing parents should stop doing at a tournament.
Yeah, I think it's tough to be a parent. You want to see your child do well and play well, but sometimes I see emotional outbursts if they miss a putt or if they hit a ball in the water or something like that. It's really hard to kind of have unconditional love for your child. I've seen, kids getting chewed out in the parking lot by parents and things before, and I don't think you should let the game of golf come between you as a relationship with your parent, your child. Like approach it as an unconditional love thing to where whether they play good, they play bad, you're going to go get some ice cream or something afterwards anyway. It's not the end of the world. But sometimes they look at it that way if the goal is to just get a scholarship and they're thinking of a return on investment and I've paid this money for this tournament and we need to get a college scholarship. And if you're doing it for the right reasons, it's normally okay. It's not a problem. It's normally if you're doing it for the wrong reasons is where it becomes a problem. But I think if you can kind of remove the emotion and just let them play and not kind of judge them as much, I think that'll be a lot better for your relationship and make it a lot healthier too.
Love that answer. Support goes a long way. My dad, God rest his soul, used to ride my tail when I played football if I had a bad play or whatever. But it was the times that, he patted me on the back and sent me back out there that I was able to go out and perform at a high level. So I totally understand and respect that. Coach, I got two more for you. When people talk about the Adam Gary era at WKU, whenever that comes to an end, which I hope is 10, 15, 20 years down the road or however long you want to do it, what do you hope they say?
Oh gosh, I'm not good with these questions. I hope they look back at it and they just know that I did my best and that I wanted the best for my kids. I wanted the team to represent the university well, not only in the classroom but in the community and on the golf course. There's a lot more to it than just trophies. I hope that they kind of remember some of the relationships we built, and I hope that the university enjoyed having the girls on campus. And like I said, I think sometimes you can get caught up in the over par, under par instead of just where we are from a relational standpoint. I hope that everyone knows that we were a hardworking team with good attitudes, and that I tried to represent the university and the community the best I could. I mean, obviously, I'm from here, and my parents went here, so it's kind of a nice tie-in to see things going well here on the hills. So I've enjoyed my time, and I hope it continues.
Yeah, I would say that you've done a really, really great job of that so far, Coach. And like you had mentioned, you are from here, and a little birdie told me at one point in time you may or may not have been one of the best golfers in Kentucky.
Back in the day, maybe, yeah.
When you were a junior golfer, you were impressive.
Yeah. I did play well. I had some good tournaments, but it was a long time ago, so but no, it was fun because I enjoy that, and I think that's why I enjoy the coaching side of it is it's a fun time in life, and I look back at it really fondly of my recruiting process because I was an AJGA All-American, so I was able to take a lot of visits and do a lot of different campus tours and obviously still keep in touch with my college teammates and things. So it is a fun time in life, and I want it to be a good experience for others, and I hope they enjoy it as much as I enjoyed it.
Where did you play college golf at, Coach?
Yeah, so I graduated from Florida Gulf Coast University.
Okay, yep, I remember reading that now that you say that. Last one I got for you. What excites you most about the future of WKU women's golf?
Yeah, I think it's just exciting that we have momentum on our side right now. Our facilities are great. We're getting into a lot better tournaments. Our tournament schedule is really tough now. We're getting some good competition. I think, gosh, I think the sky's the limit, really. Because I think a lot of, especially with this transfer portal and a lot of the rev share and NIL stuff going on, I don't know that a lot of the Power Four schools are going to, invest the funds that they normally do into like golf because a lot of those are just going to go to football and basketball, maybe some baseball. But I think that's where the mid majors and group of five like us could really step up and fund some of these non-revenue sports and kind of stay competitive on a national level. So I think we might have some advantages that we've never had before coming up soon. So unless some things change, it's hard to keep up with the NCAA's changing so much right now. But I think we're in a good position from a facility standpoint, from a tournament schedule standpoint. Obviously, we've got some history and we've got some good players, and they kind of advertise and spread the word for you, which I think is important. I got this tip from Travis Hudson. Travis always says that you need someone else besides just you telling a kid that it's okay to come to Western Kentucky and give them a chance. It's kind of a sales pitch coming from the coach, but if you've got some other golfers or friends or swing instructors or people across the country saying, "Hey, go check out Western Kentucky," then I think that really encourages and increases the chances of getting some of those players. So I think the future looks bright, and I'm excited to see where we can continue to take it.
Absolutely, Coach. I think, like you said, sky's the limit. You've built a heck of a program that you have done things that had never been done there. Very, very impressive by you, by the lady golfers. And I know that I look forward to following along a little more closely this year. And hopefully, if y'all play a tournament local, which I'm sure you do, maybe I can get out there and support you guys and would love to come watch some awesome golf. Coach, I appreciate you taking the time again. It means the world to us that you were willing to do this. I'm just a normal guy from Franklin, Kentucky, trying to make my stamp in the golf community, and you coming on means everything to me. So, congratulations on everything that you built, and best of luck in 2026. Appreciate you, Coach.
So thanks for having me.